Hey, welcome to Learn About It, where we are a day late but loving life. Here is some info on the climate from different sites. I tried to cut out the repetitive, but there may be some. Let's roll. Starting strong with NASA, we have the current warming trend is of particular significance because it is unequivocally the result of human activity since the mid-20th century, and proceeding at a rate that is unprecedented over millennia. It is undeniable that human activities have warmed the atmosphere, ocean, and land, and that widespread and rapid changes in the atmosphere, ocean, cryosphere, and biosphere have occurred. Earth orbiting satellites and other technological advances have enabled scientists to see the big picture, collecting many different types of information about our planet and its climate on a global scale. This body of data, collected over many years, reveals the signals of the changing climate. The heat-trapping nature of the carbon dioxide and other gases was demonstrated in the mid-19th century. Their ability to affect the transfer of infrared energy through the atmosphere is the scientific basis of many instruments flown by NASA. There is no question that increased levels of greenhouse gases must cause Earth to warm in response. Ice cores drawn from Greenland, Antarctica, and tropical mountain glaciers show that Earth's climate responds to changes in greenhouse gas levels. Ancient evidence can also be found in tree rings, ocean sediments, coral reefs, and layers of sedimentary rocks. This ancient and paleoclimate evidence reveals that current warming is occurring roughly 10 times faster than the average rate of ice age recovery warming. Carbon dioxide from human activity is increasing more than 250 times faster than it did from natural sources after the last ice age. All right, that was just like their intro blurb, so here are some other fast facts. The planet's average surface temperature has risen about 2 degrees Fahrenheit since the late 19th century, a change driven largely by increased carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere and other human activities. Most of the warming occurred in the past 40 years, with even the most recent years being the warmest. The years 2016 and 2020 are tied for the warmest year on record. The ocean has absorbed much of this increased heat, with the top 100 meters of ocean showing warming of more than 0.6 degrees Fahrenheit since 1969. Earth stores 90% of extra energy in the ocean. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets have decreased in mass. Data from NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment show Greenland lost an average of 279 billion tons of ice per year between 1993 and 2019, while Antarctica lost about 148 billion tons of ice per year. Glaciers are retreating almost everywhere around the world, including the Alps, Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, Alaska, and Africa. Satellite observation reveals that the amount of spring snow cover in the northern hemisphere has decreased over the past 5 decades, and the snow is melting earlier. Global sea levels rose about 8 inches in the last century. The rate in the last 2 decades, however, is nearly double that of the last century and accelerating slightly every year. Both the extent and thickness of the Arctic sea ice has declined rapidly over the last several decades. The number of record high temperature events in the United States has been increasing, while the number of record low temperature events has been decreasing since 1950. The U.S. has also witnessed increasing numbers of intense rainfall events. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the acidity of the surface of the ocean waters has increased by about 30%. This increase is the result of humans emitting more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and being absorbed into the ocean. The ocean has absorbed between 20% and 30% of total carbon dioxide emissions in recent decades. That's 7.2 to 10.8 billion metric tons per year. All right, that was NASA. This is conservation.org. Tropical forests are incredibly effective at storing carbon, providing at least a third of the mitigation action needed to prevent the worst climate change scenarios. Yet nature-based solutions receive only 3% of all climate funding. 11% of all global greenhouse gas emissions caused by humans are due to deforestation, comparable to the emissions from all passenger vehicles on the planet. The concentration of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere as of July 2021 is the highest it has been in human history, 416 parts per million. 11% of the world's population is currently vulnerable to climate change, impacts such as droughts, floods, heat waves, extreme weather events, and sea level rise. Just 7% of the world's forests are coastal mangroves, yet they store up to 10 times as much carbon as tropical forests. If we continue to lose mangroves at this rate, they may disappear within the next century. This loss removes an important buffer from extreme weather for coastal communities and releases immense amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Last, and maybe a little least, is DoSomething.org. They say, global warming puts coral reefs in danger as the oceans warm. Scientists fear that coral reefs will not be able to adapt quickly enough to the resulting changing conditions, and bleaching incidences and diseases will increase. Heat waves caused by global warming present greater risk of heat-related illness and death, most frequently among people who have diabetes, who are elderly, or who are very young. Global climate change has already had observable effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up earlier, plant and animal ranges have shifted, and trees are flowering sooner. Though Americans make up just 4% of the world's population, we produce 25% of the carbon dioxide pollution from fossil fuel burning, by far the largest share of any country. There is more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere today than at any point in the last 800,000 years. I know some Christians are old earthers and some are not, so do with that fact what you will. And then greenhouse gases keep heat close to the Earth's surface, making it livable for humans and animals. However, global warming is happening largely due to an over-emittance of these gases and fossil fuels. So this is just a small snapshot of what scientists are saying about the Earth. If nothing else, it's something to think about. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for Talk About It. Peace be with you and those you love. Signing out, 908 Ministries.